Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I do crafting videos, art videos, decluttering videos, just really whatever I'm up to and whenever I can. But today I'm going to be doing a quick flip through of some new journals that I am listing on my Etsy. I made these using some pattern packaging, sewing patterns. Wow, there's the word. So these three are more vintage, although this one I think is from the 80s. But these two are a little bit newer, but they do have those beautiful retro inspired illustrations on them. So I have 5 of them, and each one of them will come with an ephemera pack. And I'll just show you one, but they're going to be really similar things. So you can have a cluster, stamp, a Rolodex card, a little label card, a playing card. This is what they're called TV cards, but they're inspired by a girl here on YouTube. Her name is Chasing Retro. And yeah, so you can use these however you want in your journal. They might have different pieces of ephemera, so this can be a little tuck spot on your page. They will all have an illustration from a vintage sewing book, a craft type of paper, sewing pattern, like a piece of sewing pattern, and then one of these like phonetic cards, which you can use in many different ways. So they won't all be the same because some of these items are vintage and some are handmade. So those will vary, but you can expect that sort of thing there. So I will start with this one. They measure about, well, if you know a standard sewing pattern, then that's about how they measure. But this one is a little bit wider than most, and then this one is the smallest one. So they measure about 6.5 by 8. And let's see what else. They are lined with fabric. Each one has a separate or a different fabric. And I did some pinking around the edges, except for this one because the fabric was just a little bit too small to actually do the pinking effect. They all have a couple of beads, and they all have a little cluster with buttons that I hand sewed on there. And I will flip through them quickly. They all have kind of the same style of pages. This is from a vintage sewing book. This one has a little tuck spot with sewing paper or pattern paper. And I did staple tabs on each journal. Each one will come with a little cluster that is just held together by this ball pin. So you could take it apart if you wanted. You could move it around, any of that. Each one will have a larger journaling card that I made from scraps. And yeah, this one I put the tab, like the flap from the sewing pattern, because I like the colors and the pricing and all that. So I just stapled it on there, but you can move it somewhere else if you wanted to. And so they are very basic, definitely perfect for you to personalize them. I didn't go heavy with the sewing theme because if you wanted to add that, you could, or if you wanted to use it another way and just because you like the actual journal, then you could do that too. So yeah, they definitely have room to grow though, because the soft cover, you can bulk it up and make it one of those like plushy round journals. This one is the oldest one and the one that was probably in the worst condition. I did reinforce them with freezer paper and of course with the fabric, so they are still sturdy. Let's see. Oops. Just here's the beads for this one. I love that little star with the blue dress. It's super cute. And as I said, for the other one, they each have tabs, which I did staple on. That way you can remove it or you can leave it there. This one has a beautiful inside. I love how girly this one is. Here's that little cluster charm, which wants to be on the other page, it looks like. Okay, so this one I made a tuck spot with a pattern paper, and it has the smallest journaling card. So all the other ones are pretty much as tall as the journal, if not a little bit taller. Here's that vintage book page or sewing page again, some pretty scrapbook paper, some flaps. This one has 2 pockets, which I did not hold together or glue together. That way you can add more stuff, but you can certainly close them. I think this is the only one that I left open, just because I leave some of mine open and sometimes I like to close them up, so that way you can do what you want. And then I did glue the flap on here because it was too brittle to do much else with, so I just thought it looked cool there. And for me, once the page is broken in a little bit, it's just easier to work in. And I'll give you a closer look at the cute little cluster there. And this is the back. And of course, like I said, this is from 1968, so it's old. You can expect like some of the little holes, but that's what gives it character. Plus, if you like journaling and that's why you're here, then you already know. Here's the charms for this one. I love this one. I love the blue, and I did it had like this little bit of green and a little bit of pink on the flowers, so I picked that one on there. And then I did green thread to kind of not make it everything blue. And then some of the beads, I have some glue on my finger, some of the beads are pink too, to kind of bring in a little bit of another color instead of just making it all monochromatic. I love the first spread here. Let's see. So again, here's that charm. Here's the large journaling card. And kind of the same paper. So I use this one, looks super springy. I like this one a lot too. And here are the charms. It has a green little heart, a butterfly wood button, and then this little cluster here. I love the fabric on here. This is everything that I like. And I love it with these polka dots here. So this one is super fun. I do like to include some neutral pages, so that way you can incorporate your own ephemera into it. And I forgot to say, but I think they have 8 pages each, so then you have 32 front and back. And then this one is like a deep green type, but I did add a little bit of the blue, the yellow. I don't often like super monochromatic things, so that's why you can see more color. And this one had a splotch of paint in the back, so I added a little cluster of scraps there. Again, some beautiful fabric. I love how this looks here. You have your vintage paper, some shorter and taller pages, pocket, here's the journaling card, and that is the end of that one. So I hope you enjoyed this flip through. These were so fun to make, and I actually had to stop myself from adding more things because I wanted to keep the price point reasonable, and the more embellishment and like handmade details that you add, of course, that increases the price. So anyways, they'll be on my Etsy. As soon as the video is up, they will be listed. So if you're interested, go check them out, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.